Okay, we're back. This is Malcolm Rose, and I've got my Octopode of Sif Muna here. Octopode Air Elementalist. Last time we cleared out the lair, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to head down and finish out the dungeon, and we'll clear probably Orc and see where we're at after that. Orc is kind of a nice turning point for most characters because you have usually 4 shops, sometimes less if there's a mimic. And there might be some useful things in there. Sometimes there's not. We probably won't get anything that we terribly need because, I mean, we're worshipping Sif Muna, we're getting books now. And right near the end of the last video we found this nice little, what is it, the Book of Beasts. And so we are training hexes and summoning just to get Summon Mana Viper online here. It'll give us just some bodies to put in the way. I think you can get, what is it, 2 of them? Yeah, you can sustain at least, at most, 2 creatures summoned by the spell. So they're a little bit fragile, but they're useful. They have the anti-magic, and so they're handy to have. And it'll just be some bodies we can put in the way. And we're kind of working our way towards Summon Hydra, although hopefully we get a few more summon books. I'm not too worried. We have a good amount. We have a good amount of stuff to use in general. Lightning bolt alone can carry you pretty far. You may notice I sound a little different. I went out and I bought a better microphone. Fun fact, I was actually using a an old USB Rock Band microphone I just kind of had in the closet. Realized that's probably not the best thing to be making videos with. Apparently it's just a dressed up Logitech mic. I found this out because I film these on, I'm actually running a Linux machine, and you can tell, it'll tell you exactly what you're connecting to. It just reads as a Logitech mic. Well, we found a ring just now. Magic power. We're not really hurting on mana points, but I mean, we have 8 ring slots and we're only using 4 right now. Or 3, rather. So, I will take what I can get. Now, we're not going to play Mutation Roulette anymore. We already have level 2 of this tentacle ability. And I'm not positive, but I think that the more good mutations you have, the more likely you are to get a bad one when you're eating mutated meat like Sky Beast corpses. These killer bees don't really stand a chance to airstrike, or a chance against airstrike. I am going to auto-explore a bit. I mean, I have 92 hit points. I should be okay, at least in dungeon. Famous last words. Hey, so here's Erica. Not really too worrying of a unique. I mean, the Confuse is annoying, but we do have 5 potions of curing, so we can get rid of it. We're just going to try to lightning bolt her to death. Well, we'll open up with an airstrike, because we can't hit her with the lightning bolt. Fun thing is, with this ring of magical power, we have 38 mana, so even though, again, we don't really worry about magic on this character as a Sif Muna worshipper, it's nice. It's nice to have that sort of wiggle room. Alright, we trained some evocations on this character. 36%. 36% is not bad. You can sort of spam it. I don't want to polymorph her, though. Just because she could easily turn into something that's nasty that we don't want to deal with. Instead, we're going to Cloud, and she gets confused. So we'll just airstrike her to death. In terms of running out of mana, we're really never going to have a problem with that as long as we stick with this magic regeneration amulet and the ring. And on top of that, Sif Muna. It's magic for days. Really, I find that if you're running out of mana, generally you're probably playing wrong. I mean, having more mana to me is a convenience. It's not something you ever really need unless you're just kind of chronically undertrained spellcasting. Or if you're like a Neo Deep Dwarf and you've burned through your max mana. Hey, Grum spawned with a wand. Thankfully it's not paralysis or anything. We can just kind of walk away from the Wand of Flame. Just playing it safe. We were a little bit hurt. Didn't really have anywhere close to max mana. Just kind of another example of playing careful. You think, well, it's just Grum, it's not a big deal, you probably won't die. Well, that's until you walk backwards and a Hydra shows up, or some other nastiness. So the thing about this game is you really just always have to expect that the worst thing you could imagine is going to happen. And how do you survive that? If you miss 6 times in a row with something, which can happen, you know, you could be a berserked Minotaur Berserker, and you could be swinging with 27 axe skill, you know, and you could miss 10 times in a row. That is possible. And so if you want to guarantee that you're going to win, or, you know, get somewhere in the vicinity of guaranteeing you're going to win, you really have to account for what's the worst thing that can happen, and can I survive it? I'm going to go ahead and drop these stones. They're nice to have to throw in the early game, but with 39 mana, I don't think I'm going to really need to do that. I mean, my need for a quiet way to pull things is pretty much non-existent at this point. Very quickly getting Mana Viper online, by the way. Oh, Book of Enchantments. We want this. We want this a lot. In fact, this tempts me to go into hexes a little more. First of all, we're gonna get deflect missiles because I have preemptively trained a lot of air and charms. So we've got 22% fail chance, but here's the fun thing about Sif Muna. I don't really care that I have red fail rate there. And Deflect Missiles is really the perfect candidate for this, because I only need to cast it once, and then until it runs out, it's just going to last. If I were to fail, though, because I'm worshipping Sif Muna, I don't suffer miscasts. I think it's a 0% chance to suffer miscasts if you're at the level of piety that I'm at. If you're at 5 or more, 5 pips up here. Is that 5? 3, 4, 5, yeah. Don't quote me on that, but you may have to have full piety, but I think it's anything that's top piety or one step below. Kind of rises as you grow in piety. The chance to block a miscast. But that means that you may have 50% fail rate on something, but you can cast it, and the worst thing that can happen is you lose a turn and some mana. Sort of a different approach than what Vehumed does, where he just drops the chance by 33%. This is a book. We just got this as a gift. This game is pulling me in so many different directions now, because for a while I was wanting Freezing Cloud. We have a double enhancer for the Cold Staff and the Ring of Ice. If we really wanted it. But this is the point where you really kind of have to prioritize, because we only have so much experience to go around. And because summoning is just so powerful at this point in the game, and especially onwards, I think we're going to really focus on getting Mana Viper online. I'm tempted... See, Discord is so tempting to go into. Because Discord, if you don't know, is this very hilarious spell. If something is low on magic resistance, it's pretty much going to die to Discord. You can use it, you can even use it in a Ziggurat, actually, on a room full of things, and they just kill each other, just off screen. You just finish them all off without doing any more work. It's useless against things with high MR unless you're willing to use the vulnerability scroll first, which you may not have. That's nice, though. But there's a lot of game left. There's a lot of time to decide what we're doing here. So more to come on that, but if I had to guess, I would say most of our experience for a long while is probably going to go into summoning. Especially if I decide to go 15 rune. If we 15... excuse me. Yeah, if we 15, we're going to have a lot of experience to play with. What I'm really hoping to see is Malign Gateway. It's just outrageously good. Alright, we've hit 52 items, that is. So, I'm going to drop some stuff. I'm going to drop, let's see, Staff of Cold. I'm going to keep the, well, no, I'll drop the Ring of Ice. I'll keep the Staff of Cold because it's really fast to switch weapons in case I really need cold resistance for some reason. We'll drop some of these wands. We'll drop Wand of Lightning, since we can cast it. We'll drop Polymorph, 2 Polymorphs, Random Effects, Flame. Just wands I'm not particularly partial to, or less useful at this stage of the game. We'll drop Tomahawks. We'll keep the Javelins of Returning for now, even though I don't see us really using them. We're going to drop the Enchant Weapon because we aren't using a weapon that can be enchanted. And we'll turn it off for auto pickup. Just some quick inventory management. We'll enchant up this hat. Should have done that a while ago. What else? I'm going to drop... This is something I like to do. I will drop all my food except for one type. If I grow low on food, which very much may happen considering I'm playing a caster, then I'll go back and pick this stuff up if I really need it, but food clock is kind of pointless at this point. Identify one of these potions. Hey, that's nice to see. We got Potion of Experience. Who knows how long we've been carrying that? I guess it doesn't say for potions. Yeah, you definitely want to use this kind of thing as soon as you get it. Getting a Potion of Experience in the early game is a complete and total game changer. We're kind of well into the mid-game now, so it's less exciting, but it's never bad to see. We'll just put the points into what we're already training. We gain a level. And Mana Viper is down to 12%. I think once we have it at maybe 10, well, no, let's go straight into summonings. Let's just do summonings now. Just for a while. We really want to get Hydra online. Hydra solves some problems for us. It's a big pile of hit points, it's a big pile of damage. You know, even if we can't, for whatever reason, use it to kill the thing that we're trying to kill, we can use it to back up. You know, we can walk into it, and it can absorb hit points for us, absorb attacks for us, rather. We can get away. I mean, that's the main benefit of summons, in my opinion, is not only are they a great offensive tool, they're an excellent defensive tool. They do everything. Hey, that's something you want to be careful of. This wight started with a Trident of Distortion. So, even more than usual, we don't want this guy to be next to us. But thankfully, Lightning Bolt does the job. Now, I really probably ought to be using Lightning Bolt over Airstrike at this point, because I have the Spell Enhancer in the form of the Staff of Conjuration, which does not apply to Airstrike. Airstrike being a pure air spell, and Lightning Bolt being conjuration and air. And so my spell power is significantly higher. Although I'm just partial to Airstrike. I just really like it as a spell. It's nice to know that it's just very reliable. Here's our second artifact of the game, unless you want to count that book that Sif Muna gave us. Do I want to wear ID this? You might be wondering, okay, why is he trying to wear a quarterstaff when he's got an enhancer? Well, this artifact could spawn with plus intelligence. And if this artifact does in fact have maybe plus 5 intelligence, it might end up giving me more spell power across the board than the Staff of Conjuration does. And on top of that, it'll reduce my failure rate on spells, if that's true. So I actually do like to wear I like to identify every single weapon artifact that I come across, even on a pure caster. Now the downsides of this, if I don't have an identify scroll, which I don't right now, and I actually wear it to identify it, you know, it could be distortion and I couldn't take it off without risking going to the abyss. It could be drain and I couldn't take it off without eating a bunch of negative levels, red drain. I'm going to take the risk though. I guess it could be, oh right, I forgot I'm wearing a buckler. We'll wear it anyway. Yeah, it's crap. Whoa, wait, no, it's not crap. That's 7 intelligence. That's pretty good. That may, in fact, be worth giving up the buckler. Wow, MP plus 9 as well. It creates noise, but I want to say that only happens when I swing with it. It may make noises in combat. I think that's only if I swing. Maybe not. That's interesting. Let's check our spell power. Actually, let's wear this unidentified ring first. Protection from fire. Good. Okay, so this is wearing the staff. Let's take a look. Airstrike is 4 pips away from max. Lightning Bolt is 4 pips away from max. Now we wear the Conjuration. Same thing, except Lightning Bolt is stronger. So it kind of loses in terms of spell power differences that are big enough to display here. Let me try put it back on. Let's look at failure rates. Deflect missiles goes down significantly. Not that we really care. Mana Viper goes down by 4. Seems like with my current level of intelligence, the spell enhancer is better, and that shouldn't really surprise you too much. I mean, 25 intelligence is pretty decent, you know, pretty good. And my understanding is the math behind this is such that if you have a ton of intelligence already, then there's a step down. So having, you know, if you have like 40 intelligence, then gaining another 5 intelligence is going to do less for you than gaining a spell enhancer. Whereas if you, I don't know, if you have like 10 intelligence, like you start as a ghoul or something, you're really going to want to wear even a plus 5 intelligence item over an enhancer. Probably. I mean, these are just rough numbers. Don't take that as like the word of God, but you know, roughly, that's how it works. Not really a math guy. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could go into the source code, I could take a look at exactly how it works, but I tend to prefer to just sort of get a feel for things. Got an ambulance passing by. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Happen to live next to a road, so just gonna have to deal with a certain amount of that until I move. We ran out of mana here, so we're gonna zap one more time and leave. It's kind of popcorn trash, but there's no reason to take the risk of playing around with it if you just don't have the mana to deal with it. We got a Wand of Confusion. We'll drop the one that we've used a bit of. Sort of funny we can airstrike these guys even though there's stuff blocking because smite targeting. If you can see them and there's a line of effect, meaning that, you know, this can go through, if there's space for it to travel, then it will hit. If there was like a clear wall here and it was totally blocked off, I wouldn't be able to airstrike. Haven't really been double zapping at all so far in this video, but haven't really needed to. Here's a... Ooh. Yeah, red ugly things, or just ugly things in general, can do a nasty amount of damage, more than you might expect. I would consider them to be a dangerous monster, one that's often overlooked. I mean, if you look at an ugly thing... Oh. I guess it won't let me look it up. That must be a bug. Usually you can look up monsters, you know, you do, what is it, question mark, slash, and then M for monster, and I type ugly thing. Usually I would get some kind of list of stats and stuff, but ugly things are kind of a weird corner case because they come in different colors. Oh, we're being petrified. Oops, oops. That's okay. This is unfortunately the, well, 14 shouts from that lightning bolt. Yeah, lightning makes a ton of noise. As I was saying, this is kind of the unfortunate thing about being a pure caster. I can't just tab through all this stuff, I actually have to pay attention, but then again, you shouldn't be tabbing through things, really. Not if you're trying to win, not if you're trying to maximize win rate. Here we have Nessos. He is definitely not to be underestimated. He can do a lot of damage. 16 plus the bow, which is not showing up right now, but he's a good target to hex. 71% fail, or 71% success rate. The guy just does not have MR, so he did resist, but I mean, whatever. We're just gonna... He resisted twice. Yeah, he just resisted 3 times in a row. 71% success, which it can happen. The game can really just do that to you. You could have 95% success rate, and you could fail 10 times in a row, and that's what you have to account for. For example, if all that had failed and he had started doing some real damage to me, we would have maybe had to burn some of these consumables, like the blink scroll. Thankfully, we eventually got it, and we're just gonna lightning bolt him to death. He's paralyzed, so he just has to eat it. I'm really very tempted to train spellcasting for a while. Simply to eliminate the spell hunger. It's really kind of becoming a little bit annoying. I know that, I mean, ironically, it seems like my spell hunger right now is more of a limiting factor than my magic. Like, I think I'll start starving before I really run out of magic sometimes anyway. Oh, hey, we've got Herald. He's a scary one, because he can net you. Less so for us, but right now, since we're high enough level to really take him out fast. He's got Bolt of Fire, but I recently got this protection from Fire Ring, so that'll be half damage, I believe. Let's use our Mana Vipers. Let's use our Mana Vipers and send them over to deal with him for us. If they don't die... Yeah, if he doesn't just burn them to death, let's watch them work their magic on him. Okay, your Mana Viper bites Herald. Herald's magic leaks into the air. If you don't know, that's anti-magic. Just like the weapon, same effect. It means that every spell he tries to cast, if he rolls the dice and the AI decides that it's going to cast a spell, there's a chance that'll fail. And that chance goes up if he's been hit more than once with the anti-magic. I don't think it's permanent, but it lasts long enough that, you know, in one fight, it's not going to matter. Let's just kind of watch. We're just going to let our Mana Vipers do the work. You get 50% hit experience if your summons do most or all of the work against a monster, but at this point we don't really care, especially for just one fight. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, see, look how fast. It's only been like a couple turns. And looking at the log here, he's already been hit twice with, actually 3 times with the anti-magic effect. 4 times now. 5. Like, he's just not going to cast anything. And so not only does that stop him from bolt of firing us, it means he's going to waste turns. And so he just quickly eats it. Now, Mana Vipers are a little bit overkill for Herald. He spawned at a point where we had enough experience and we're strong enough that he's kind of pushover. But you know, if you happen to be a little lower level, but for whatever reason you can't avoid Herald, you really need to kill him, and he's dangerous, you might consider, if an anti-magic weapon is dropped, you could do the same sort of thing. In general, though, he can be quite spooky early on because, you know, his bolt of fire does a lot of damage. So you don't have protection from fire, you might end up having a bad day. A lot of orcs on this floor. If I had to guess, I would assume the entrance is here. Actually, the entrance is definitely here. It says so. Okay, here we go. Here's an ugly thing. 17 damage. And up to 36 extra cold damage if any of the 17 gets through. So, don't underestimate these guys. If you don't have resistance to whatever color they happen to be at the time, that's like 50 damage. I don't want to eat 50 damage. Is he resistant to lightning? No, he's not. And the other thing about these guys is you can't outrun him. He moves at speed 12, I think. Lightning takes care of it, though. Another present from Sif Muna. What was that? Was that the Book of Party Tricks? Yes, Book of Party Tricks. I guess we could memorize summon butterflies. I mean, it's nice to have. It's a nice little evasion type thing. It can keep a juggernaut busy for a very long time. Tuck Dance is nice, but we don't really need it at this point. Tuck Dance will almost single-handedly win Orc for you, but we've got enough tools that it's not necessary. I noticed a lot of people like to memorize Apportation if they're like ninjaing runes and stuff. It's not a bad idea. Okay, we're actually gonna get some of this stuff. We're gonna get summon butterflies. Stick that on the letter U. We're gonna memorize Apportation. Let's put it on P, I guess. And then we'll drop the Book of Party Tricks. We won't need that again. I mean, if we had infinite spell levels, invisibility might be a good thing to memorize. It gets ghost moths off your back, for instance. Ice Cave on this level. No magic mapping. Let's turn off some of these wands that we don't want. We don't really need flame, we don't need random effects. I'll go ahead and turn off polymorph. This is just a good thing to do if you're trying to do inventory management. You know, you can really save yourself some annoyance if you just turn off the stuff you know that you don't want to ever pick up again. Actually, let's get Wand of Lightning off there too. Ooh, Deep Elf Mage. Elves, in general, not really these guys, but the higher level elves, are some of the most nasty, dangerous monsters in the game. Because they will do a wide variety of things. Sometimes those things are not so bad, and sometimes those things will kill you. Ooh. Yeah, I shouldn't be making so much noise. This is really a mistake. I have D-Missile, though, so I'm not too worried. I'm just going to Lightning Bolt this guy. The Deflect Missile really just takes care of this stuff for me. No, he just kind of came out of nowhere. Okay. Yeah, we made a ton of noise for a new floor. It's not really good. Getting a little bit cocky here. Let's paralyze. Yeah, let's paralyze. Okay, good. Here's a nice one. These double zaps can also happen at an angle like this. So not only are we getting both these guys, we're double zapping both of them. Sort of a trick shot. Takes out both. You can see me abusing the minus plus cast thing. Quite a bit, actually. Alright, let's look at this log a little bit. I want to see what the sound was. Okay, you can hear the faint crackling of a very distant melting archway. Archway. I was here, thereabouts. It's very distant from here, so unless there's... Well, this is the top of the floor, so that means that if we go down, we are going to be getting closer unless there's more stuff up here, I guess. I think this is the top of the floor, though. And the rest a bit. I'm not too worried about missing this. It really won't be the end of the world if we don't get the portal. There was a time when I would really prioritize hitting these portals, like, oh, we gotta get to them, gotta get to the portal. That'll get you killed. You know, you will die trying to get to a portal vault, and then, you know, you'll use up a bunch of resources trying to get to it. It might not even be real. It could be a, you know, it could be a mimic. Oh, crap. I need to be careful. Here's an annoyance, because we're out of mana now. And he's stealing our mana. And this guy is resistant to electricity, so let's make ourselves a Mana Viper with 2 mana because of Sif Muna. There we are. He'll block for us a bit, or maybe not. Let's make another one. Yeah, there we go. See, even though he's not really affected by anti-magic, he still blocks. He still hits the Mana Viper, takes up some of his turns, and of course they do damage, you know? They're not totally useless. I'm doing a little bit of work. That'll happen sometimes. It's like a miniature confusion effect. Anytime your allies attack, there seems to be a small chance that'll happen. Another reason why summons are just so good. I will say I would like to get this vault, only because there is one, or this portal rather, I'd like to get to it. There is one, or at least one, vault for the Ice Cave, where you get 2 manuals of ice magic. And so it would just be a really nice thing to have right now. I'm sort of using Mana Vipers just because it's the only thing I have that kills things and doesn't make a ton of noise. I'm trying not to pull the floor on me right now. Okay. Okay, good. I kind of wish I was still holding on to my Ring of Ice. Just for cold resistance here, but that's okay. Hopefully this doesn't pull too much. Looks like we got animals. This is going to be just a bunch of stuff that we would see in Lair. And like a frost giant, I think, at the end. We're out of mana. We're going to use a little bit of wandage here. We're pretty much coming up at the point of the game where wands of disintegration are not going to be terribly useful to us. So it's not really going to make me too sad to use up a little bit of these evocations. Let's just whack this guy. He's confused from our Hex Wand. Yeah, see, that wasn't so bad. We can get some double zaps in here. This is a really good configuration for that. Configuration of walls. And we are Octopode, so we can just swim across and get some of the loot early. Shield of cold resistance. Oh, I never put my buckler back on. That was silly. If we find ourselves doing 15 runes, as silly as it sounds, I may very much put in the 15, I think it's 15. Yeah, 15 skill to remove the penalty on this shield. Just because, you know, it's a shield. And it gives me a pip of cold resistance, you know, why not? But that is a lot of skill investment. Even at 0 aptitude, that's more skill investment than I'd like to put in when I've got so much magic that I'd like to learn. Really not concerned about... Oh, hey, whoa, I am concerned. Whoa. He's scary. I don't remember if giants can walk through water, but I think they can. Because they're just big. Oh yeah, he doesn't care. Okay, he has a frostbolt. Can really mess me up. Let's make... Oh. I make the Mana Vipers, and then I wait for them, and the Mana Vipers despawn. Let's wear the Staff of Cold. Okay. Let's do the math on this. I'm going to consult Beam here, because Beam is the only way, as far as I know, to see how much damage something can do in terms of spells. It does 3d 25 damage. 75 maximum, and with the pip of cold resistance from the Staff of Cold, it can do half that. I'm just assuming it does the maximum, because that's a good thing to assume, because it could happen, and also my armor class is like nothing, so it's actually quite possible. Not just possible, but it very much could happen. It's very, I don't want to say likely, but a lot more likely than you'd think. Okay, we're going to wait. I'm going to order these guys to attack. He swings... Oh, that's unfortunate. They're Vipers, so they're cold-blooded, and so his Ice Axe will slow them. But that's okay. Hopefully they get a hit in, and he gets anti-magicked. Our escape plan here, if we just eat a couple max damage bolts of cold, or even one bolt of cold, really, if it's high damage, is to just walk away and let the Vipers take the damage while we run. Does damage. We're just waiting turns here. Okay, that's good. Wait, what happened here? He hit it, and it got anti-magic, but one of them seems to have disappeared. Maybe he moved into that square, because I didn't see a message about it. Okay, this is great. This is great. Yeah, that is what happened, because it says it says he's freezing something, so he's area of effect striking with his axe. But he's getting a lot of anti-magic stacks now. So we're just going to wait turns while they do the work for us. Here we go. The Frost Giant falters for a moment. You see that message when they try to cast something and fail due to anti-magic. So he's really just wasting his turns, which is excellent for us. Okay, I was waiting for this. So we're going to try to get this double zap, and hopefully we can kill him. Oh, he gets the bolt on us. And, oh, right. That's another fun thing about deflection from missiles. D-missile will block bolt spells. Excellent spell. Now that rolled the dice and it cleared my D-missile, but I'm not going to recast it. I'm going to try to finish him off. And I succeed. And now we'll put D-missile back up. D-missile is excellent. Excellent spell. Unfortunately, the thing I said about... Ah, crap. I forgot these guys can swim. That's not what we want to see. They'll berserk once they get to a low hit point state, which makes them fast, and you don't want to be in melee with them. Okay, that's better. Anyway, yeah, the Frost Giant's the boss of this place, so everything else in here is just popcorn. Unfortunately, this is not the one with the ice manuals, as far as I can remember. There's a vault. I know it can either have... I think it can either have a Necromancer as the boss, or an Ice Fiend, depending on if you find it in a lair branch, or if you find it somewhere else. Basically, the later the game thinks that you're in, you know, the more difficult these portal vaults will be. At least that's what they try for. Okay, we got this guy. Resists electricity, unfortunately. Let's make some Vipers. Have a little fun with it. Airstrike him some. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Yeah, just keep going. All those summons despawn as soon as you kill it, so... Okay, we're done exploring. Alright, it won't let you try to auto-travel out. Okay, we Control F dot to see the stuff that's still here, the items. None of this stuff is stuff that we need, so we're gone. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this quarterstaff. As fancy as it is, we really just don't need it. Tengu Conjurer. Really easy to kill monster, but he can do quite a lot of damage to you. Fortunately, we have Airstrike, which pretty much just takes him out. Eyes of Draining become so much scarier when they are in a group with something and you're a pure caster. Normally you see Eyes of Draining and you just don't care much, but on this kind of character you really have to pay attention. They can be, I don't want to say as dangerous as ghost moths, but, you know, same basic idea. I'm partial to clearing dungeon, or as much of dungeon as I can, before I go to Orc. You know, we notice we just kind of walked right by it. And that's, you know, that's an option, but... Probably shouldn't have taken that staircase. We're eating damage here and we don't have to. Oh boy, we're eating a lot of damage. Let's... Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, he was... It was the warrior was slamming us. Really gotta be careful with these guys. I'm gonna lightning bolt, but I will consider. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll consider using a blink scroll if Mr. Orc got anywhere close to me. It's so easy to get careless in this game. There's so much of it for each character, and you're so fragile. You know, most characters are fragile. Every character is fragile in certain ways. That's the interesting thing about this game is you're never Superman. You know, you can become Superman. You can become, like, almost unkillable in many situations. But no matter what character you have, there are... if you misplay in certain zones and certain types of things, you can die very quickly. I mean, there's no character that can survive, you know, like 5 max damage Hellfires from Hellions. Or thereabouts. Because nothing resists Hellfire. Not even a Demon Spawn who has the Hellfire mutation, which I think is silly. But I guess they just... I don't know, the devs hate the idea of Hellfire resistance, I think. Or sorry, Damnation. The name got changed at some point. I guess people were confused that it was not really affected by resistance to fire. I don't know, seems silly to me, but I still call it Hellfire. I mean, it looks like fire, so. Looks like we got our vault's entrance on this floor, probably, since we have vault guys showing up. Wow, he just really doesn't want to... Sometimes things will just evade. Oh. Yeah, I have my RC set to flash whenever I run out of demissile. Good way not to forget. I mean, it's so... spider zombie. It's so easy to just kind of not notice that your demissile dropped. And then you'll run... You know, if you'll play for like an hour and you'll just play without demissile, and that's not very good on a character like this. Here we go. Some rings, finally. Yeah, I'll take these. Let's take a look. So we're low on MR. We badly want that, especially going into Orc. We'll wear that. Let's identify this one. Poison resistance, I'll take it. We have 2 more ring slots, so what do we want? Ring of Intelligence, not bad. The question is, do I want to blow my gold right now? I haven't seen what's in Orc yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this and the Ring of Procol to my shopping list. And we're going to come back for it, because the fact is there may be something just totally awesome that spawns in the shops in Orc. And those shops are more or less guaranteed. Oh man, pack of centaurs. Not great. Yeah, so shops may be useless, may be useful, but you know, it's certainly possible for stuff to spawn in there, which costs like 1,000 gold. 2,000 gold. So I want to get a look at that before I spend any more. I was willing to spend for, you know, what did I buy? Magic protection, because an Orc, as you probably know, things can paralyze you. And really, on this character especially, but on any character really, you will die if you get paralyzed in a lot of cases. I mean, on a low AC character, just forget it. You're done. And in fact, the Orc Sorcerer, I think that's what it's called, the red Orc with the red robes. That guy, not only can he paralyze you, but he can summon something like, I don't know, a 6 Furhy, which will proceed to just put you in the grave, especially while paralyzed. So we got this book. And wow, it's a doozy. We got Crystal Spear in it, and Firestorm, and CBL. Now, I do not have resist electricity, and it hasn't spawned on anything. So CBL is not, I mean, as cute as that sounds, no, it's just not a good idea. Let's drop one of these books. Let's drop, let's just drop all these books for now. I can always come back. I like to put them in different stacks, but, you know, you don't have to. Now, if we wanted to go Firestorm or Crystal Spear, those are, of course, those are end game. That'll do the job. And we could. We really could. But I don't think we're gonna. I mean, we may. But really, we're pushing towards Summon Hydra right now, and we're getting quite close, so we're going to go ahead and memorize it, which means we have to forget some things. Static Discharge, we don't need it anymore. Not really. What else? OTR, useless. Useless at this point in the game. Really no reason you would keep OTR as far as I'm concerned. Past the early game. Mephitic Cloud is something I'm always torn on because it's a low-level spell, but it really kind of remains useless useful the whole game, at least in certain instances. But it becomes a question of, would you rather maybe try to confuse something with a bunch of hit die that probably won't get confused, or just do some more damage to it? But you could use it on things like deep troll packs and depths. It's just crowd management. I'm going to keep it for now. In fact, I think I'm going to keep all this stuff. We have enough for Summon Hydra, so that's fine. And there we go, we can summon Hydras. Hydra is just nice. It's just a nice pile of damage. In fact, I may demonstrate. Yeah, I'm going to demonstrate. If I don't miscast too much. Check this out. 4 hits. That's 4 hits on this guy. This dude has 120 hit points, and he took a big chunk of it out. And that's just a 4-headed Hydra. This is the your spell power is kind of crappy Hydra, and he's still just doing work. Well, I guess a little bit above average spell power. Summon Hydra, but still. I'm going to walk backwards a bit. See, I have all this time. I have all this time to just sort of walk away if I feel like it. And that's why summons, especially in hallways, are so good. And I have Airstrike, so I can just cast that. And I can get a little damage in. And getting a little bit of damage in is not a bad idea when you're using summons, especially because the more damage you, in particular you, not your summons, do to the enemy, that's the more experience you'll get when they finally kill it. It's based on a ratio of the damage that you do to the damage that your servants do. Really need to get that spell casting soon. I'm really partial to training one thing at a time, but I mean, you don't have to do that. Some people like to some people prefer to set, like, I don't know, spellcasting, summoning, fighting, dodging, you know, all the things they think they'll ever need for a really long time, and then set it and forget it. I like to micromanage a bit, because when I have a goal in mind, for example, my goal right now for this character is to get Summon Hydra to a little more castability. I'd like it to be a little more reliable in combat. And so I want to go straight for that. And so summonings is my goal. But your mileage may vary. Ooh, Scattershot. It's not bad to have. We'll identify it. We'll go ahead and identify... Let's identify the scroll. Yeah, I was kind of hoping it would be scroll summoning. It's a nice one. We'll wear ID this. It's nothing that we need to carry around. That would be a nice weapon if we're maybe lower level. Plus invisibility is always nice. Got an interesting vault here. Let's swap to the Staff of Cold for resistance and roll in. We're not going to remove that, but hey, we just found a +5 Ring of Intelligence. That's good. What's in the book? Nothing we need. Well, we should use Azukubu's armor. Really good spell, actually. See, I'm torn on it. I am the kind of guy who... The problem with that spell is I will forget to cast it. Or, if I remember to cast it, it will come back to bite me because it slows you down, right? Not your attacks or anything, or your spells, but just your movement. And so if you need to get out after casting that, you might have a problem. But it can push your AC to, like, non-crappy levels, which is something I desperately need for emergencies. So I think we're gonna keep this book on us, and we will memorize that when we get a chance. This is a great example of some dudes kind of showing up behind us. I'll put demissile back on because they ruined it. Let's make a Hydra. We should have done that when we started out, but whatever. I'm going to start airstriking for reliability for the low life ones. Alright. Let's rest up and keep going. See how I'm kind of luring them to this place where I can double zap them? That's a fun thing to do if you've not, if you've got access to lightning. Here's a Death Knight. Here's a guy who really, in my opinion, shouldn't be in the dungeon, but he is. I think this is more of a Crypts monster, more of a Vaults monster maybe, but at least he's showing up on D15 and not D12. He can take half your hit points, so he's a little spooky. We're gonna... Oh, hi. He has a friend over here. We're gonna make a Hydra for him. And then... Yeah, this is a good spot. We can get the double zap here. Didn't take much damage. That's unfortunate. Let's zap again. Let's make another Hydra. What happened here? Ah, I miscast. And we're starving, so we can't cast. Let's eat real fast. Make another Hydra. Whoa, what happened here? Did I miscast? Yes, I did. Okay, so that proves it. You need to have full piety to guarantee no miscasts from Sif Muna, unless something changed with her. Yeah, it says Sif Muna is protecting you from the effects of miscast magic. I'm gonna look that up real fast because I am curious. Sort of annoying if... I mean, I guess it's definitely the way it works. The unfortunate thing is it's like pretty much, I mean, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's very difficult to get that last pip of piety with Sif Muna. Doesn't really say unless I'm missing something. Yeah, okay, miscast effect protection is piety divided by 160, so guaranteed a 6-star. Okay, well that's good to know. Unfortunately, we've called up a bad dude who wants to eat us. He does a lot of damage. We're in a bad place here. What a great name. That's not a great name, it's a really stupid name. Loro Caproca. Alright, he's speed 10. That's fine. That's fine. We are going to swiftness. And we're going to put some space in between me and the bad guys. If I have to, I will use resources, teleport, you know, whatever. But we have enough spell power that I can swiftness and walk backwards for quite a while and sort of summon Hydras every so often. Wow. He just eats the Hydras. Did it just miss? He just didn't get any attacks. That's annoying. Yeah, he just doesn't want to attack. I'm ordering him to attack, but he's not doing it. This to me looks like a bug. I must be missing something. Oh, I know what it is. Are they... Yeah, it's invisible. Okay, so Hydra can't see it, so I'm wasting my time. Can Mana Vipers see invisible? No. Wait, yes. Okay. I'm just gonna teleport. I'm slow now, unfortunately. Yeah, those are some misplays on my part. Wow. That Hydra really did some work against my Hydras. Oh, and I'm still slow. Whoops. This is not good. He's an 8-headed Hydra. He can do more. He can do like twice my hit points. Let's not take any risks. Let's blink away. Really wasting some resources here. It's not good. Spam a little confuse on him. It's okay. That's what the scrolls are there for. I mean, they're really to save you from your own misplays in a lot of ways. Hopefully you won't need to use something like that. However, we learned a valuable lesson with that nonsense. And that is that we can miscast. Okay, there we go. There we go. Hydra's took care of business for us finally. Took out the Death Knight. Unfortunately, we still have this nasty summon monster that we have to kill and not get any experience for. But yeah, now I know that I can, in fact, eat bad miscasts, so I don't want to be casting until they don't have the colored miscast, unless I know I can afford to deal with any summon miscast that can happen. Hey, we got Urug. Urug is, yeah, he is usually a guy who spawns with a lot of, what do you call it, javelins, yeah. I think it's just javelins, I don't think it can have tomahawks. But he has bad mana resistance, or magic resistance, so we can just, he has a steel javelin this time. We can hex him, and we're gonna try anyway. Wow, okay, he spawned with a... That's cute. He spawned with a cure potion, so we confused him. And then he immediately drank a potion and got unconfused. Let's put him in a cloud. Let's... Meth cloud, that's what it's for. Anything that's not resistant to poison and has reasonably low hit die can be confused, usually, with it. Oh boy. I just miscast Hydra 3 times in a row. I think it was 3 times. Maybe twice. Yeah, twice. I got a little concerned because I saw this Guardian Servant coming for me. These are my mortal enemy here. They will put dudes around you. You know, they'll surround you with whatever's around. I wanted to make sure the Hydra killed it fast, just like that. If I'm low on mana, generally I'll just let the summon do the work for me. You lose a little bit of experience that way, but I mean, do I care about losing a couple points of experience from an orc pack? Not really. If it makes the game less tedious and the impact to the overall success rate is not much, then I'm not going to worry about it. Hey, I'm a bee priest. Yeah, she can smite you. Indicates there may be some more bees nearby. Nope, it was a shapeshifter. Shapeshifter vault, looks like. Oops, didn't mean to move like that. Yeah, this is really where air magic and summons just kind of naturally work together. You can lightning bolt things as they approach you, bring out the summons. As soon as your summons are blocking you from doing more lightning bolts without damaging them, just switch to airstrike. Really nice synergy. I got a Kobold pack here with Demonologists. Kobolds are really nothing to worry about usually in the, you know, at this point in the game, but these guys can summon lesser demons. I think it's a cute little sprite, at least. Oh, we got Louise. Louise can banish us, and while I think we would do okay in the Abyss, the dice roll there could really just screw us over. I mean, anything can spawn in the Abyss. You could be in Abyss 1, and I'm still fairly certain that while the spawn rate is reduced, it can still be anything in the game. So you could end up, get to Abyss 1, get Abyss there, get banished by Louise, and then a Hell Sentinel shows up, and then Hellfires you 6 times in a row, you just die. So the bottom line is we really don't want to mess with Louise here. We don't want to take any kind of risk that she can banish us. So we're just going to walk. We will take the risk of random energy, but we're going to walk until she's out of sight, and we're going to make some mana vipers and some hydras. We just blew all of our magic on these guys, and that's good. Because check it out, she can't banish us. Louise cannot banish us if stuff's in the way. And so they're going to do all the work for us. And if she banishes one of my hydras, well, I don't really care. She started with a... What is this? She started with a vampiric evening star. That's cute. Alright, well, they're still going to kill her. There we go. Hydras do work. And that's Louise. That's one of those great sort of examples of risk management. Louise really could have caused us some bad problems there. But we made sure she couldn't. Barring the sort of silliness of random energy, there was no way at any point there that she could have even had the chance to try to banish us. We didn't let that dice roll happen. And that's kind of the bottom line when it comes to playing carefully, is you want to stop as many dice rolls as possible where the dice roll can badly impact your game. These slimes are... These slimes can be a problem if you let them join together. I think they can do like 100 damage once they're Titanic. See, Bolt of Lightning, one shot, kills the Cyclops. I mean, can't do better than that. One shot, one kill. Okay. Alright, so that's Dungeon. And now we'll go into Orc. This, of course, being 2.0, or rather 0.20. Technically, I'm playing in Trunk. But because it's 0.20, it's been a while since Orc's been 4 floors, so we only have 2 floors to do. We'll make a ton of noise, I don't really care at this point. We've got the staircase to go back to. Oh boy, maybe I do care. We got the Etten. Ettins are just a big pile of damage. We can spam Confuse on him and probably succeed. Yeah, we got him. I will make some Hydras though, just to sort of clear the air a bit. Probably should be making a little less noise, because if I were to sort of screw up this landing spot here, I mean, if Mr. Etten walked 5 squares and for whatever reason I spam Confuse, it fails, 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 fails. If he got to maybe here, or really here, so really not much further from where he started at, now I'm in the panic zone where if he's here, he can get random energy and move once and hit me in the face and kill me. So I probably go back at that point, like I go upstairs. Well, what do I do at that point? I pretty much have to leave the floor, unless I want to risk getting slapped in the face by the Etten and killed. So that was a little bit of reckless play, probably. But, I don't know, I'm not sure what I would have done at that point. Probably some goofy potion of invisibility type stuff. Ew. That's not what you want to see. So we walk down, we get a bunch of sleeping orcs. Normally, if you were a character with armor class, you would say, well, it's just some orcs. The only thing that does a lot of damage is the orc knight. Let's just tab this, right? Wrong. This one dude, I don't even want to be in melee with one of these guys. Not with this AC. Oh, this is really nasty. Let's think about this. So I'm looking at the first floor. You know how you can go into map mode, Shift X, and then hit the left bracket to go up to sort of look at the map. This is an unfortunate arrangement. Yeah, this is not the best, because it's sort of that problem I mentioned a second ago. If I go up right now, probably only this dude follows me. But now I've got this staircase that's just sort of surrounded by this gang of dudes who really wants me dead. And we can't go back down. I'm tempted to blow this Scroll of Summoning just to put a whole bunch of crap on the board. Just a big pile of followers, hopefully. And then that really takes care of the problem for me. But that's a resource. And we want to try to avoid using resources unless we kind of have to. At least highly limited resources. Could do Wand of Clouds. That's sort of a dice roll on if it's going to be good or not. But it would clear a lot of stuff. We could Meth Cloud. If I surround myself with Meth Clouds, all of this stuff, even the Orc Warrior, can get confused. And I am poison resist now, meaning that I don't care about doing it right next to me. This is, the more I look at this, the nastier it is. This guy's got an anti-magic longsword, so he's going to drain my mana. That's the effect it has on the player. This is an ogre, which normally at this point in the game you just don't care about, but again, no AC, so he does a ton. Orc warriors are dangerous by themselves; they do 20 damage, but this guy has a scimitar of electrocution, you know. And the rest of these guys are nothing special, but they still do damage. All in all, I just don't want to be here. If I had a Wand of Digging, which unfortunately hasn't spawned, I could kind of go up here and dig around and look for another downstairs, but I don't have it. I think we're going to use the Scroll Summoning, and we're going to see what happens. Worst case scenario, if this doesn't do anything good for us, we can blink out. Okay, well, this is certainly something. Orc misses us, that's nice. And we got ourselves a Stone Giant, so I think we're going to move northeast here. And we're going to kind of get some stuff in between us and the bad guys. Ogre swung at one of the allies, that's good. Alright, let's put the Stone Giant here. Good, 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 good. Yeah, they're doing work. Okay. Losing some things, but this isn't bad at all. Let's make even more. Summons are so good. We don't want to be next to anything, so we'll just keep walking backwards anytime we have to. Make another Hydra whenever we can. I think we miscast there. Yeah, we miscast. And Sif Muna finally protected us from the miscast. Make another one. Any malign tentacle yet? No. I don't want to make a lot of noise here, so no lightning bolts, not yet. There we go. Looks like Sif Muna gave us Book of the Dragon, which is cute, because we don't care about anything in here, except for Dragon's Call. Dragon's Call's nice. I don't think it's, honestly, I don't think it's the best summoning spell. It's the highest level summoning spell, but I don't think it's the best, because it sort of just drains your mana to 0. I mean, it'll clear out most things. I mean, it'll do the job, but it's just not very versatile. I don't like it because it leaves you kind of vulnerable once you're done with it. So if you're in a troublesome situation and you cast Dragon's Call, and you're not out of the problem, you know, if the problem's not over by the time that it's done, then you're in trouble. And you're probably, at best, stuck using some sort of consumable to get out. However, with that said, it's the best thing available to us now, so we're going to consider memorizing it. Not yet, because we can't even cast it. A lot of things we want to memorize right now. There's a lot of stuff on the plate, and we just don't have the spell levels to do it. I like to think we've done a pretty tight job here of keeping spells that we're using. I mean, I don't really use Blink or Summon Butterflies, but those are panic buttons that we want to have. And we're still using both airstrike and lightning bolt, so we're not gonna amnesia off any of this stuff. We just may have to start training spell casting again soon, unfortunately. Actually, we're gonna do that now. We'll just kind of leave both of these on, actually, because at the very least I want to get Oz armor, that AC. In that situation we were just in, I probably would have taken the extra AC. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I lightning bolted. That's bad. Shouldn't talk and do things at the same time, maybe. I lost my D-missile there. Yeah, this is bad. I probably pulled the whole floor. Let's see what happens. We'll just use the clouds on this guy, and we'll recharge the clouds. We'll use some more clouds. Yeah, this is the downside. I mean, this is the downside of playing a pure caster, is situations that would be pretty easy for any kind of melee guy become complicated problems for the pure caster who's got not a lot in the way of defenses. And it more or less stays that way the whole game, unless you turn into Transmutations guy and, you know, you use stat form and take yourself to 30 AC or whatever. At this point, we're just kind of shotgunning lightning bolts here. Letting Hydras do the work where necessary. Or where convenient. Some sort of distortion. Yeah, no thanks. Best to let summons take care of stuff like that, because we do not want to get abyssed. Getting abyssed is dangerous for almost any character, but I would especially say that it's dangerous for this one with my low defenses. A lot of stuff can spawn in there. Okay, here's our first shop. Lamp of Fire is good. We'll mark that. I don't like to buy anything until I've seen all the shops. So I'm just going to mark some interesting things here and put them on my shopping list. Wand of Digging will almost definitely buy. There's a Wand of Clouds here. We can sort of, if we run out on our other one, we can buy this and save ourselves a recharge scroll. I do not like to get Fan of Gales. I think that the item is useless now. It seems like even with high evocations, it doesn't blow things away from you very easily. So I don't use it. Let's see what other cash and prizes we can get here. We got a Scroll of Enchant Weapon, don't care about that. This Potions of magic, potion of ambrosia. Mostly a bunk shop, though. Oh, we have our first super orc. Despite the general nastiness of the landing zone here, we haven't seen... I mean, this is the only upgraded orc we've seen. High Priest, Sorcerer. Haven't seen a Warlord. And we're getting smited. Which is unfortunate, but we're fine. Still got some orc to go. Hey, there's a warlord. Let's see how Hydra does against him. He's doing okay. He takes him out. And here's our Orc Sorcerer. 11% paralyze. Pretty good, right? No. That doesn't read 0, and that tells me I never want to be in line of fire with these guys. Because if I give them a chance to paralyze me, that's a chance I get paralyzed. And even if it's 1%, that's probably, you know, if it does happen, then I'm dead. Probably. So we'll just keep summons between me and him. He can bolt to fire me, but I don't really care about that. I have resist fire, so it's not that big of a deal. And the Hydra does work. Takes him out. We're going to back up a bit. Really letting our summons deal with this stuff for the most part. Again, I would rather lose a little bit of experience, or potential experience, from summons than lose the game. There's the proper way to do it. Pull one at a time. Save yourself the trouble. There's our friend here. Just lightning bolt him to death. Okay, here we go. An artifact weapon. We'll check it out for the reasons I stated earlier. And nothing else of value. So I think I can afford most of this stuff. I'll go ahead and see what the axe is. It's something I really just don't care about, and it's fragile, so now it's gone. Wasted about 150 gold on that. Okay, let's go over here. Let's get the Lamp of Fire. It's always nice. I mean, it recharges based on how much experience you've gained since you last used it. And so it's just kind of a... It's a nice just extra, you know, if you want to put down some clouds. It's just nice to have, so we'll buy that. We'll buy the Feel. Same story, really, just something extra you can use. And it generally puts a guy between you and the enemy, which is nice because when you're casting a summon spell like a Hydra, there's no guarantee he's going to show up in between me and the enemy. There's no guarantee with the Feel either, but it seems like it's more likely. And you can control it a bit better. You can actually hit a square and it'll show up somewhere nearby, if not right there. Dang, I guess we had less gold than I thought. I want that Wand of Digging, though. We'll finish clearing out Orc. As you probably know, when you have Orc and you'll come in, and oftentimes it'll be separated like this. There's more to it. On the first floor, we had to go down and then up. Hey, here's some fun. So, Stone Giant hits for 45 damage. I'm not positive on this, but I want to say that if you want to do the math on how much damage you could do with the rock, you have to look at the actual base damage of the rock, which is 20, and then you add that to his melee damage, 45, to get 65. And I think that's the maximum damage that he can do with the rock. My instinct is to lightning bolt him and try to kill him, but that's bad. we're gonna walk backwards. We're gonna make a Hydra, we're gonna make a Hydra, and now we're gonna start zapping him. And he's dead. Oddly enough, he did not throw a rock at us, but we have demissile up. It's not really something we need to be that worried about since the staircase was right there. Although if we wanted to be maximum safe, we probably should have just stood here and shouted. Okay, I think we have, yes, we have a 3-part Orc 1. A couple tiny little rooms. Honestly, I'm a little apprehensive every time I get something like this without a magic mapping because, you know, I pop up in here. There's nothing really stopping this tiny room from being just packed with garbage. And so I could pop up here and it's like, hi, I'm an Etten here. I'm an Orc Warlord here. I'm like an Orc Knight here. And that's a little bit extreme, but you can end up in a situation like that where you pop up and you just immediately get punched in the face because you've already visited this floor, technically. So it's a thing that I don't really like doing, but you probably won't die. I'll go up here. Yeah, okay. Sometimes that hatch can lead somewhere weird, I think. But okay. So we're done with Orc. We're done with Dungeon. I am going to end the video here, but here's the interesting part of the game, or at least where you are presented with a little more of a choice. Oh, hi, crocodile. Yeah, so you're presented with a little bit of a choice, and the choice is, I mean, technically, okay, you have a choice before this. You could go whatever path you want, but this is more or less agreed upon as something close to the optimum path. In terms of like risk versus experience reward. But now you're in a situation where you've cleared Lair, you've cleared Orc, and you've cleared Dungeon, so what do we do now? For a lot of characters, you're in sort of go mode and you can just go wherever you want and clear it out and you're fine. If you're like a Minotaur Berserker, it doesn't matter at this point. But for other characters, you're faced with a significant choice that is really depends on what your character is. So as this Octopode, do I want to go into Shoals? Do I want to go into Spider Nest? There are occasions where going into Slime first is a good idea. I can't imagine almost any character would want to go into Elf at this point, but it's an option. And you can't go into Vaults because it's rune locked. You gotta have a rune. Or you could even go into Depths, which you might do if you were doing some kind of challenge run, or if you just wanted to kind of roll the dice and see if you can get some experience off some fat packs of deep trolls. Excuse me. So you have a few choices, and I don't think I'm gonna put the time of the thought into where I'm gonna go next until I post the next video, and I'll just kind of do a rundown there of where I'm going and why. Probably, if I had to guess, it's probably going to be Spider Nest, but maybe not. I need to review my spells and kind of, we'll go ahead and memorize Oz Armor at least. Yeah, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed.